I always knew she could. Okay, so now I'd like to call up to the stage Rebecca Van de Griff, who has been, where is she? There she is. Rebecca has been doing all kinds of work for immigrants' rights, and she's been down to Texas, I believe. Come on up, Rebecca. And she's working with the Indivisible Women in Immigration Rights Work group. Close enough. Okay. Okay. Is that good? Okay.
Hi. Thank you, Lorraine. And thank you to the Peace and Justice Center for inviting me to come. I am a member of a local group of very active and very committed and very supportive women, and we have been together for 2+ years. We are the Immigration Action Alliance of Nevada County, and we focus our attention, and always have, on immigration issues, supporting the immigrant community, and lately mostly the migrants that are fleeing their countries from horrendous violence and unlivable conditions, and legally seeking asylum in our country, and being victimized by our policies for that. Last year, I began hearing of a child detainment camp in Tornillo, Texas. And Tornillo is in the middle of the Sonoran Desert in Arizona. The facility was actually at the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Tornillo Port of Entry. And I was hearing of a man, Joshua Rubin, and I was hearing from Joshua Rubin. Joshua Rubin himself had heard of the Child Detainment Center, and he wanted to see for himself what kind of a place we would keep children in the middle of the desert with degrees over 100 in the day and freezing cold in the evening, and call it a safe place for children. So he left his home in Brooklyn, New York. He rented a motor home, and he left his wife and his child, and he drove to Tornillo, and he parked across from the facility, and he stayed there for 3 months, day and night. He did not leave, 24/7, and he was alone. And he witnessed the atrocity that was happening across the way. He would walk the facility and try to talk to the children until that was prohibited. He would try to ask questions of the people that worked there, and he was met with silence. For 3 months, he documented, he videotaped, he photographed, and he bore witness. That's what he did. He went to bear witness. After 3 months, he was pretty broken, and it was very difficult to continue. So he put out the call for others to come and bear witness. And some of us heeded the call. And I went with 2 of my sisters. We were there for a week. And what we saw, what we experienced, what we absorbed was heart-wrenching in knowing that our country, my country, was doing this, that my fellow citizens were participating and enabling this. I saw a facility encased in chain link, topped with barbed wire, covered in black tarp so we could not see the children. I saw bright, tall spotlights that were left on all night long. I saw a dirty, dusty field that was the children's only place of recreation, a place where they played soccer with old, used soccer balls that had been donated by a local charity, because before that they didn't even have that. We were able to see some of the soccer balls that were kicked over the fence. Some of the children had signed their names to them. I heard some describe Tornillo as a summer camp, that this was better than what they came from. Tornillo's temperatures reached over 100 in the summer, and at this summer camp, I didn't see one swimming pool. I didn't see one place where they could have any kind of water play. At night, it is so cold that our first day there, with our hats, with our jackets, with our scarves, we were so cold that the very next day we got ourselves to Walmart to buy more to put on because it was so cold. And at this summer camp, I never saw a campfire where they could warm themselves or heat up marshmallows at this summer camp. Child detainment centers are prisons for children, and anyone that says otherwise is just being ignorant, and that's the nicest thing that I can say about that. In its 7-month span, Tornillo housed some 6,000 undocumented teenagers, mostly from Guatemala, El Salvador, y Honduras. But at the beginning, Tornillo detainees even included children that the Trump administration had separated from their parents. We left Tornillo with a somewhat lighter heart as it was set to close, and we did see children leaving, and we did see buildings being dismantled. But the ugly reality was that Homestead was on the horizon, and Carrizo Springs was on the horizon. And so the witnesses followed, and every day they stood and they bore witness. And these too are closing, but we know little of where many of the children are or where they went. And other children prisons will open as the money being made from these death camps is astronomical. Terrible things are happening outside. Poor, helpless people are being dragged out of their homes. Families are being torn apart. Men, women, and children are separated. Children come home from school to find that their parents have disappeared. That was written January 9th, 1943, by Anne Frank. Make no mistake, the power of witnessing, keeping the focus and the attention on the death camps, because that is what they are, is a superpower not to be underestimated. Stand up, show up, speak up, because we together are the superpower that are going to stop those death camps. Thank you.